Hello, hello. Welcome. Episode 3. Ye shall live. Old becomes new. Old becomes new. And so now, we are talking about the old becomes new. And so with this, I want to just give a little quick recap of episode 1 and 2, the intro of me being a suicide survivor, trying to take my own life. Episode 1 just gave a brief description. 2, I talked about how I was going through the psych ward. So now, episode 3, the old becomes new. The old becomes new. And so with this, I'm talking about Isaiah 43, verse 18 says, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past." Verse 19, the A portion said, "See, I am doing a new thing. I am doing a new thing." But the problem I was having with trying to do a new thing was the past was still in front of me. Past was still in front of me. I have surgically repaired ankle. I'm not going to lift my ankle up into the screen. And I had scars on my hands from the road rash. You can kind of see there one, and here's the other. It was down to the white meat. So the past was still in front of me. The past was still staring me in the face. And so I had to figure out a way to forget about the past. I had to build up some courage. Now, with these wounds and things on my hand, I had to prepare the dressing and the gauze on them myself. Okay. When I left the psych ward, I couldn't go back home. At the time I was with my oldest son's mom, and that was not an option. So the place that I was working at, my boss, shout out to Skip O'Neill, let me come stay with him, right? So I'm with him. I'm with him, and now I'm in a space wondering what am I going to do now with my wounds down to the white meat. I had to be very, very careful with this, right? Because I didn't want it to get infected. It's bleeding. And I don't know if you ever had an injury down to the white meat, but it is definitely a sight. And it was really crushing to me to see that about myself. But I was like, okay, I have to do this in order to really get to the space that I needed to be in. I needed to do this to ensure that the old can become new. It was a challenge. Definitely was a challenge. It definitely messed with my psyche. So not only that, now I'm on the crutches because, like I said, I had the surgery repair ankle and I have the cast on, and I'm really trying to understand what is it I need to do to further myself to become new. And so here's the thing: I was still a little bit in the depression, and I talked a little bit in episode 2 about the antidepressants I was on. That was not an option. They made me have some personalities, so I didn't even finish taking them. I didn't even finish taking them. I threw the whole thing away, $100 down the drain. But now, what do I do? How do I cope? How do I get to a space in my mind, because medicine was not an option for me. And so, even with that, now I'm in this space and I have a decision to make because in this attempt, I was working at things. So now what do I do? So I said I told you my boss is now my roommate. I was actually at his house, and I left the night I committed the suicide. So at this point, the only people that know are our boss at the time, my son's mom at the time, oldest son. That's it, right? And so nobody at the job knows. They protected me, and now what happens is I go back to work. I go back to work, y'all. So I have to wrap my hands in the gauze, right? I have the ankle, so I'm on crutches, and I don't remember how quickly I went back to work. Like again, this was over 20 something years ago. I don't remember how fast I went back to work, but I moved to a different position. So before I was washing cars. So obviously I'm on crutches. I got oozing white meat hands, trying to protect my burns and scars. I can't do that anymore. So now one of the other positions I got moved into was the lot attendant. And what the lot attendant does is when the new cars come in, you check them in and you got to tag them up, put them in the system, and then park them in the lot or move them if they're applicable up to the showroom area to be seen. So I had to literally put my right leg up. I learned how to drive on my left foot. That's crazy to think. So I had to put my right foot up onto the into the passenger seat, and I'm driving these cars with my left foot, which means I have to accelerate and brake with the same foot, right? And the good thing about it was the staging area and the where I had to sit was in the back lot area. So there was a little small building that set up a trailer. So there were times I didn't have to travel too far. Now, if I had to take the car up to the main area, it was just about a 2 minute drive up to the main showroom area from the lot. And so I'm back at work, and everybody's just amazed because they think I was in a car accident. And that's the story that stayed because my roommate wasn't going to tell my boss. And then, so I'm now I'm battling trying to get back in the sync of life, but it's tough. But no, this is the thing about it though. God will send you people. And at the time I wasn't saved, but I'm looking back, God would send you people to help you navigate what it is you're doing, to help you navigate the storm. And so at times people would help me on the when I was coming up, people would help me. They'd open the door for me. If they saw me coming, they would just assist me while I'm doing the work. And so I'm just encouraging you, even when you're moving, trying to get back into the space and the reality of life, God can still send you people. Now, I wasn't saved at the time, but looking back, I know He sent me people. Like I said, He's my boss. Now I'm staying with Him. I was able to go back to work and move into a different position. I didn't really lose too much except my mind. It was shaky at the time, right? So I'm trying to compress all these things, but me being able to go back to work was very helpful because it made me feel like um, the old was becoming new. The past was still staring at me because I had I had to make sure, and a couple times I fell when I was on my crutches. I fell, and I remember one time I hit my ankle, and the pain, and not only that, the pain from my hands. And so when you really think about it, there's no reason why I should have been able to do the things I did, but there was an inner strength going on inside of me. There was a inner move that said, I gotta get up and go, because staying in the house by myself, because like I said, my roommate, my boss, he still had to go to work. So me staying in the house by myself, I didn't feel like that was going to be a good thing. So going back to work got me back around, you know, the people. It got me back around, you know, people that knew me and cared. And so that was a glimpse of God, a bright spot in my life, being able to do that. And so, but even in that process, I still had to cope, because those scars on my hands down to the white meat, it hurt. So even when I was using my crutches, it hurt. And at the time I was young and dumb. I didn't even think about it. I was just going, right? And so sometimes you gotta just go. And a lot of people were really just helping me, and I really owe that to God, right? So this was helping me transition from the old to become new. It was helping me transition out of that depression. And see, the thing about it is, depression will make you think you can't be around people. You kind of close yourself off, and you really stagnate yourself. And I knew that I had to find something deep inside to pull myself up. And it was a journey. You know, some days the hands hurt more than others. Some days the ankle was just pounding the pain. And I really didn't want to take any pain medicine too much. They had me on, I think it was Oxycontin or Oxycodone. I can't remember which one. And if you remember in the psych ward episode, I talked about the dosage they had me on was too strong. They lowered it. So the outpatient, I had some, and I think I took it for a little while, and then I was like trying to just cope. So that was another thing, right? So not only I'm trying to get over the mental, I had the physical pain of what I did to myself. The scars were trying to heal, right? But nobody else could tend to this, to my hand, except myself. That was my responsibility. And sometimes it's your responsibility to yourself. You owe it to yourself to pick yourself up. But then when you do that too, God will still send some people, right? And God has sent me to you, right? This whole journey, this story I'm telling is organic. It's raw, and it's the truth. And as He allows me to pull back those memories, because a lot of stuff I probably suppressed and things, but I'm going to share what He allows me to pull back from, to help you get through this. And you can jump on, you can comment, you can inbox me, whatever you feel, right? This is going to be an ongoing thing. Like I said, I'm going to just tell the truth about it. Those dark spaces, those times, even when, you know, I was getting back into reality of life, but then going back home and things, it was still rough because I'm looking at myself like, what did I do to myself? Like, what have I done? Why, why, why have I done this to myself? Right. So now you're dealing with that. So you broke past the whole thing with the depression a little bit, but now you're getting past the fact that you did it, but now you're looking at yourself like, why? What have I done? But I'm still here. And so I was wondering to myself, why am I still here? Why didn't the attempt go through? Why am I still here? And you may be asking yourself the same question. Why are you still here? Why didn't the attempt to? You, for every account, you wanted it to go through. You wanted it to be done. You wanted it to be over. You wanted death because you thought you couldn't cope in this world enough. You couldn't make it through another day. But I'm here as a suicide survivor of 20 plus years to encourage you that you can. That you can. The Bible tells us that God knows the plans that He has for us. And so that is how we're going to understand why we are even here. What are the plans? What is the purpose of being on this earth when I just tried to take my life and remove myself from this earth? But I'm still here. We know those that attempted and succeeded, right? You may know some folks. We saw it, seen in the news, we saw with celebrities, right? Overdoses, and maybe it's accidental, we don't know, but we know some that have committed, right? And so with this, on this journey, we can walk through with God and help you to understand what is your purpose. Why are you still here? Now, you're going to have to dig deep. It's going to take some strength. You're going to have to lean on Him. And if you're not saved, I'm still talking to you as well. As a pastor, as a prophet, right? I'm still talking to you. This is not generalized, it's just to the believers. I'm talking to the masses. I'm talking to the masses. I want you to get through this because we all have a purpose. We're not just here just to be here, right? And the enemy has tricked you to make you think that it's better that you leave this place, this earth, on your terms by taking your own life, right? But it's not. It's not. And you have to really, really settle in your mind, right? Because that's where it all begins. The mind, that's where he really attacks you. That spirit of depression, that spirit of grief, that spirit of loneliness, right? The spirit that tells you you're not loved, but you are. God loves us all, right? And so with the old becoming new, that means when you look backwards at the old, you're not looking at it to wallow in it and to make you go backwards to it. You're looking at it like, I don't want to get back to that space ever again. I don't want to ever be that depressed again, where I think I want to take my own life. Now, I'm not saying it's an easy thing, but I'm saying if you do nothing, then it's going to be harder. So you got to do something. Okay? I'm encouraging you. Now, I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist or a mental health advisor or any of that. I'm just a survivor of this. Just going to use my story to encourage you to know that you can make it. Ye shall live. Right? And so, what do you want from the other side of this, right? What do you want to be? Do you want to become new? Right? Because if you want to stay in this, if you want to not get past it, then it's going to suffocate you. And I don't want you to try the attempt again. Right? And it was tough for me, well, because those thoughts were still there. It was still fresh. The pain was still there. But like I was saying, being able to go back to work, that was a blessing. I can't thank God enough. That was a blessing. And being able to have someone to stay with. And it took me a while to, get money again, so I had to get back to work. And so in those times, boss or roommate, again, shout out to Skip, he was even feeding me, which means he had another expense. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that. But he was a blessing, right? And so I pray this can be a blessing to you, to know that you have someone that dealt the similar situation. I can relate, right? I can relate. So I just invite you to lean in. Lean in with me. Like, follow, share this with others. Share this with people that you know that are dealing with it. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. This is not just me telling my story just to tell my story. I want to engage you, right? I really want to engage you and get into your mind and have a dialogue about this, right? Because I want to see you live beyond and beyond, right? I want to see you come on here one day and say, I found my purpose. I understand it now. And the depression, we understand it creeps around, right? And every day may not be a great day. Every day may not be a joyous time, but that is what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. We can talk. If you need prayer, if you just need to send something in my inbox and you don't even need a reply, you just need to vent about it, right? Because see, too many people suffering in silence. You may even be a leader. Suffering in silence. But ye shall live. 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 Join me in this journey. 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 So again, if you have any prayer requests, you can drop them in the comments. Or if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can inbox me. I'll pray for you. If there's something you want to just vent about this, send in my inbox. If you feel comfortable, put in the comments. We can do it. We can have a dialogue. We can talk. This is just episode 3. It's organic. It's growing. Right? But I need your participation too. Yeah, you and you and you and you. So we can get to the root of this and slay that spirit, right? Slay that spirit. Slay that spirit of depression, that spirit of grief, right? And not saying it'll happen today, tomorrow, 2 months, 3 months. Like I said, this is me 20 something years later. And you'll see as we walk through this, and I talk to you about this, you can see the things I was doing, right? Pitfalls and things of that nature. I'm just encouraging you, I'm inviting you to walk in this journey with me. Walk with me. Walk with me. Every Wednesday, Lord willing, Ye Shall Live podcast. We're going to talk. Come on, jump on, right? And Lord willing, next Wednesday is episode 4, Filling the Void. Because see, now I have a void that came upon me. And we're going to talk about that in episode 4. All right? Filling the void. So please just like, share, comment, follow. You know, this is going to be a great thing. God has moved upon my heart to continue on with this. And ye shall live. I love you guys.